Welcome to Vintage SF. I'm Richard Rempel. Today, Alas, Babylon by Pat Frank, 1959. This might be the most popular SF book that you've never heard of. Let's take a look at the copyright page. So if you see the printing history there, it talks about the 1959 edition in March. They had a second printing in April, a third printing in June. This Bantam edition was first done in March of 1960, and there's been 31 printings through September of 1975. Then there was a new Bantam edition in August of 1976, and the book that I'm holding is the 8th printing of that edition in September of 1981. Let's take a look at some covers for Alas, Babylon. This is the first American hardcover in 1959 and the UK hardcover edition, along with the Pan Giant paperback. The haunting cover art for this Bantam edition is by Robert Hunt. And we see a variety of these editions, all the way up to the edition I have here from 1981. As you can see in this last cover, they're already up to 2 million copies sold. The title, Alas, Babylon, is a biblical reference. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Revelation 18:10. It is a mournful cry for a world gone wrong. Alas, Babylon is one of the first novels to explore the consequences of a nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War becomes a hot war. But it's a small, insular novel. There was a number of novels that dealt with nuclear war and the aftermath around the time that Alas, Babylon was written. You might think of On the Beach, Failsafe, or even A Canticle for Leibowitz. What would happen if the Soviet Union launched a first strike of nuclear weapons? What would it look like? What would it feel like? How would you survive? The novel starts with tensions leading to this disaster. When the bombs fall, we concentrate on the small fictional town of Fort Repose in Florida. This town is far enough away from major targets to be able to survive. Can a small group of survivors become a community? How will they provide for each other? How will they protect themselves? Is there a way to recover some hope for the future? It is a community that is suffering an unbelievable trauma. Even though I've never read this novel, the template is very familiar. We see it time and again in apocalyptic literature. Ultimately, though, Pat Frank has an optimistic view of humanity. And there are some surprises in the novel. You may be surprised at some of the pieces of news that does reach the community. Does the nation of the United States still survive? Is there a government? What has happened to the other nations of the world, particularly those in the Southern Hemisphere? Frank's background as a newspaperman and then novelist led to him becoming a government consultant. He served as a speechwriter for the Democratic National Committee during Kennedy's run for office. Shortly after Kennedy's death, Pat Frank died as well in 1964. He was 57 years old. Alas, Babylon is a solid read. It is a fascinating window into a time in history. It panders to our hope and desire that there is a future. I give Alas, Babylon 7 out of 10. Have you read Alas, Babylon? How about any other books by Pat Frank? Do you have an optimistic view of the community that could survive a nuclear war? Join the discussion in the comments. Until next time, keep reading.